Hello folks, my name is T-Soul, and this will be a guide on the first tier of Guardian raids in Lost Ark. Since this might be the first time many are trying this type of instance, I will provide extra info about Guardian raids. To access this, you will need to reach North Fern in the main story, and you will unlock these events during the castle tour. Each day, you have 2 tokens to get rewards in these raids, and each boss has a different item level requirement. You should go to the highest one you can kill for the best rewards. When inside these instances, your group will only get 3 revives and you cannot use the normal healing potions. You can only use the HP potions and battle items. There is a limit on 5 HP potions, but you can return to this camp circle to refill your potion limit. You can also use this area to repair with your pet. The Guardian raids are similar to hunts in Monster Hunter. You need to locate the target and kill it within the time limit. You can have the group spread out and locate it faster, or you can also use a flare to have it show up on the map right away. You can also ping the map by pushing Ctrl and left click to let others know the location of the target. The monster will also run to a different area if you don't kill it fast enough, and you will need to search for it again or use another flare. When fighting the Guardian, they will use their attacks in a random order and target a random player. So it's usually easier to go in as a group of 4. This lets 3 players keep hitting the boss while it targets the 4th. The boss can also enrage multiple times during the fight, which will alter its moveset to be a little more aggressive and challenging. They also have one attack that can be countered. Every class in the game has at least one ability with the counter modifier. If you hit the boss from the front while they're glowing blue, you will counter them and stop that attack, and also stun them for a short time. So that's pretty much the basics of Guardian raids. Now let's start with the first boss. Ur'nil is very easy and acts as a tutorial for this mode. If you are not a gun lancer, stay to his side or back since he only has one attack that hits those areas. Most of his attacks are also very basic. The simple ones are various claw attacks that swipe his front. He can either do a quick swipe or a longer combo that ends with a launcher and knockback. His leap attack sends him forward and has a very slow startup. He has a second lunge attack that also sends him forward. Just walk to the side to avoid all these lunges and swipes. And here is his blue attack that can be countered. The counter ability can hit him while he's winding up or during his charge. Just make sure it's a frontal attack to get that stun. And here is his enrage. During this state, his shoulder blades will glow and he gets a new ranged attack. He will create a fireball mid-range in front of him and suck it in, then he will toss it behind him. This is the only attack he has that will hit his back. You will also get hit if you are anywhere the fireball travels. His leap attack will also have more range and cause extra explosions when he is enraged. And that's pretty much it for the first boss. Just stay behind him or at his side and the boss will drop in no time. The second boss is Lumerus. It is very similar to the first boss with some extra attacks that hits in a wider area. His attacks include melee swings, frontal cones, and 2 AoEs around him. Being behind the boss will let you avoid all these attacks. Now let's go down the list. He has quick melee swipes that don't do a lot of damage but can stagger you. He can also jump backwards, but that doesn't follow up with any other attack right away. His blue counter is also a charge. Similar to the first boss, hit Lumerus with a counter ability from the front to stop this charge. The counter still works while he is running since he is still blue at the time. Now for the new Conan and AoE attacks. His breath attack is a 45-degree cone, hits multiple times, and reaches pretty far. The startup has him rearing back a little while shaking his head. When you see that, dash towards his side to avoid the breath. He has a leap attack that also creates a dangerous cone in front of where he lands. This one is pretty easy to react to, since he's in air for a long time. Just dash behind him or to the side. His third Kono attack hits 180 degrees in front. He will create 2 white shields in front of him before launching the cone, so use that time to run around behind him. Next is the AoE around him. There are 2 variants. This one here hits 3 times, with a third hit knocking you up. There is a pizza slice behind him that is safe. In the other version, he leaps and starts powering the AoE after he lands. This version only hits once, but it does a lot more damage and is bigger than the previous version. Either move far away or behind him in the safe pizza slice. Lastly, he has a geyser attack. Lumerus slams the ground with 2 paws, then summons ice geysers for a couple seconds. Look for the white circles on the ground and get away from those before the geysers start popping up. This is also the only attack that might hit behind him if a geyser happens to spawn there. And that's pretty much it for the second boss, still pretty easy overall. The third boss is Legoros. He is more mobile than the previous 2 bosses, but he still cannot hit behind him. His arsenal includes melee swings, a breath attack, and various leaps. Legoros can do a single slow swing or 2 quicker swings. Both will stagger you if they hit. His more dangerous attack is a backdash into an ice breath. The breath hits pretty far away, so dash to the side when you see him move back. He does have another backstab that does not have a breath follow-up. In that animation, he does not spin, so if you see him spin backwards, get to the sides quick. His blue charge is the same as the other 2. A long counter window, and he remains blue while moving, so you can still time a counter if you happen to be far away. Next are his leap attacks. There's 2 versions here. The first is a triple jump. Keep moving to avoid these attacks. The startup for this one is also faster compared to the other jumps. The second version of his leap attack is a slow single jump. He will roar towards the sky before leaping up and mark his landing area. It does a lot of damage if you are inside, so use your dash. If you are outside the white circle, but still too close, you will get stunned for a little bit, but not take damage. Instead of walking, dash out to get some extra hits in after he lands. And his final attack is a wake up reversal. After you stagger him, he will be knocked down for a while. When he recovers from this, he will do an ice eruption around him, which will do a lot of damage and knock you back. Just keep wailing on him while he's down and staggered, but don't be too greedy and move away before he does this eruption. And that's pretty much all the attacks for the third boss. Now on to the fourth one, which is finally a little bit challenging. Vertus is the last boss of this Guardian raid tier, and he has some pretty scary moves, including one that can one-shot squishy classes. Also, the boss finally has several attacks that can hit behind them. Let's quickly go over the basics. Like the other bosses, Vertus has a single swing and a double swipe, which will stagger you on hit. His blue counter is another charge as well. You have seen it on all the others, and this one behaves the same. His leap attack is also kinda slow. You can easily react with a dash to avoid this while he's in the air. Now for some new attacks. Vertus has 3 different attacks with his tail. There's a quick tail swipe that hits behind him and to his side. The startup is pretty quick. He will curl his tail right before unleashing the fast swipe. Getting hit by this attack will stun you for quite a while, so watch out. His second tail attack is a 360 tail sweep. This will hit everyone close to him and knock you away. The damage isn't too high, but it is fast and annoying. His third tail attack is doing 3 tail slams directly behind him. He will raise his tail high before doing this attack, and it will juggle anyone that gets hit behind. Vertus can also dive into the ice and chase a random person. He does insane amount of damage when he emerges. There are several ways to deal with this attack. One is to just keep running away in one direction, away from where he dove. If you keep moving, he will not be able to go fast enough to emerge under you. Another trick is to use a flare when he dives down to see where he's at. Since Vertus only targets one player, if you notice he's not targeting you, you can turn around and go towards the boss instead of running away. The third method is very similar to the second one, except you use your eyes instead of a flare. If you look closely, you can see puffs of smoke where Vertus moves. If he dives and you don't see a white puff of smoke coming your direction from the ice hole, then you are safe. It is kinda hard to see and you will need some practice to know what to look for. Now for some attacks that get upgraded when Vertus enrages. First off, his breath attack. The regular version is a 90-degree cone in front of him. He will raise his head and work on his breathing technique before launching this attack, so you'll have time to dash to the side. When he enrages, this breath attack becomes a little wider as he sweeps his breath from side to side. Same startup animation and indicator, so avoid it the same way. Another new attack not yet seen is his Ice Ball. The regular version, when not enraged, shoots a single ball, while the enraged version shoots 3. It has a quick startup and doesn't do much damage, but it does give you a minus 60% movement speed debuff, which will make dodging the next attack even harder. So here's another geyser attack, but deadlier than what the second boss did. These geysers will show red circles before erupting, and it's pretty fast. Getting hit will freeze you and make you vulnerable to the next attack, so definitely use a dash to get away. The last attack is his command grab. He will target a nearby player with a quick grab, and if you are caught, prepare for a ton of damage. You cannot heal while grabbed, but you can try to hope your bar gives you a nice shield. This is the attack that can one-shot squishy classes like a Deadeye or Sorceress. It can get interrupted if the boss gets staggered during the grab, but don't expect this to happen often. And that's pretty much it for all the bosses in Tier 1. Clearing this tier of Guardian raids won't take too long, and it's a good intro for the harder bosses to come. Thanks for watching, leave a like and comment down below to help out with the YouTube algorithm, and if you want more bosses in the future, then please subscribe as well.